They're trying to catch him writing dirty. Trying to catch Mike writing dirty. Trying to catch Mike riding dirty.
Is that like he's taking the marinara sauce in the bathroom at Howie's and just scrawling epithets on the walls?
I feel like there's so
How
much
did you know?
pent up rage coming from him that when he leaves that place, it's probably not going to exist anymore.
Make a crime scene in the bathroom with the marinara sauce. That would be delightful.
I can't because it's already been done.
With human stuff.
Stuff?
Human stuff. Legal says I can't actually say what it was coated with.
With human stuffing.
Oh, that sounds even worse. I'd rather you just said human semen.
I was going to say human stuffing is the title of John's new autobiography.
He be stuffing.
Oh,
Happy
no.
Thanksgiving?
Oh, get stuffed, Mick.
Oh, no.
Thanksgiving 4.
Is that where Paul Hogan guest stars as Crocodile Dundee?
Oh my god.
Rolling in, just cut people. That's not a knife.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a chainsaw, bitch.
Rewatched The Mummy this week. Still
Ooh.
amazing.
So how was Tom Cruise's performance on the second pass?
Oh, no. We only stand the real mummy in this house.
That's a good joke.
Christopher Lee?
Yes.
I agree. He was stellar. Exceptional, in fact. I really
Always.
appreciated him as the mummy.
No, of course. Brendan Fraser as the daddy.
Brandon?
True.
Brandon.
Let's go, Brandon Fraser.
Let's fuck Brendan.
Legal? Yes. Facing litigation from Brandon Fraser.
Legal.
She says she's talking shit.
I feel like Brandon Fraser is the, Kmart of the Fraser show. So instead of Fraser Crane, it's Brandon Fraser. I'm listening. I'm prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what a wonderful call-in show we have this evening. So we're going to go to the lines here for our next caller. Looks like we have a Michael on the line.
Hello, I can't actually hear you. My mute button is on, but I don't know how to press it.
That's a blessing.
Hello?
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Well, how's everyone doing, I guess?
Oh, fuck's sake.
Man, we've ran out of that many bits.
Yeah,
Guys.
we're starting over.
I have a harrowing tale to tell.
Yeah.
Heroin?
Harrowing.
Don't mind
Heroin?
if I do.
Close.
In this economy?
Guys, this morning when I was leaving for work, a baby gecko ran in the door, and I was running late, so I was like, you can stay, that's fine. I ran into the bedroom, woke Jonah up, I said, Jonah, there's a baby gecko, I gotta go. And I get a text halfway through my shift that he caught the baby gecko. And then 20 minutes later, I got a message that said he'd lost the baby gecko, so we have a new roommate.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Sound like some hijinks are in store.
I hope it can pay rent.
I hope it
In
can
point
save
of
you.
fact, you don't have a new roommate. The dogs have a new chew toy.
Oh no!
And also-
Oh, no.
And also, did you know that it can save you a considerable amount of money on your car insurance?
We have named him Geico, but we
course.
haven't found him yet.
Uh-oh.
So-
What's going to happen when you do find?
Well, it's either I'll find it like today or tomorrow and it'll be alive, or it won't, and that'll be very sad.
And there's a metaphor in there for you liberals out there.
Get insurance?
I don't know what the metaphor is. I can't even spell it.
If you figure it out, tell us in the comments.
What?
Sorry, I thought I'd try some self-promotion, but, worked as
We
well
are
as I
not
thought.
entirely on YouTube yet, but I forget we're always on YouTube. Everything's short fodder.
Yeah, it is.
And speaking of being fodder for shorts, by the eternal, behold, it's the Disinformed podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
I'm Michael.
I'm Courtney.
Yeah. Welcome to the show. We're gonna have a great show.
I told you I
tonight.
gave up today. I'm
Yeah, Michael
not.
said he was hosting tonight.
What
I
made
said
you
I would
give up?
host the Zoom. I didn't say I would host the episode.
Okay, well,
What
I
made you
guess
give
I'll-
up this week, Shane?
I'm the king of awkward silences.
we don't want an entire Kevin Smith-like episode of me telling everybody why I got thrown off the plane. So I'm sure the download numbers would be delightful. But
mean,
we're
We can.
I would like to hear that.
Why did you get thrown off the metaphorical plane?
I mean, it's a metaphor.
Fool.
There's a metaphor in there somewhere.
So I'm told.
In any event, we're happy to have you all here as per usual. Our apologies for Michael having cut the last 20 minutes out of the show. And I know it's very unfortunate,
You
but
missed
legal
so
has
much.
decreed that there's nothing that it can actually stay on air based on my current conduct and the situation that I have with Arizona State and the statutes that we're wrestling with. But
Strike it from the record, they said. Strike it all.
stricken.
And so
I've
it
been
has
stricken.
been. Did you hear that noise? That's lightning striking the beginning of the episode, deleting it permanently.
Indeed. So let it be written, so let it be done.
And that, winks at camera for Michael, is canon.
That stuff about certain individuals you didn't want to be named, though, that's staying in. We're going to find
Yeah.
a way to incorporate that.
Oh yeah, I mean,
We played on loop.
if my life was easy, then how could I hate it?
That's a very fair point. I like that.
Yes.
Psalms
And it's-
25:3.
And as Michael is so fond of saying, we're going to be hitting the slopes later. But what we usually do on this show is we like to dive into random esoteric nonsense, and in the course of explaining it to one another, we lie occasionally. That is the shtick, and it is delightful every single time. No exceptions. But what we've also been doing over the past few weeks is completely throwing that to the wind and forgetting who we are. And so we're going to roll the dice. We're going to hit the little, pop thing on the treble game. And Courtney's going to tell us whether or not we're going to be following the new format or the old format with this
Ooh.
evening's festivities for her final show.
Yeah, legal fired me, and then legal quit. So I don't know what's going on with that.
Strange coincidence. It's like Bruce
yeah.
Wayne and Batman are never in the same place at once.
Curious.
I thought long and hard about, did I want to make this new format, old format? And frankly, I'm just not creative enough for the new format, so we're going old school.
Okay.
Okay.
There's many who would argue the old format was also not creative. Looks at Michael.
Also true, yes.
Looks at myself.
He makes a point.
Yeah, but I thought, what better time than to do a spooky episode than as we kick off October?
Gang, 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 gang.
Because as we know, this is the prime time for the spooky bitches because they be out there on their bullshit again, so.
That me. I'm the spooky bitch.
Just here for the booze.
So I have 5 lies for you guys tonight.
Ooh.
I actually tried. I put 5 in there. I usually would have gone
Well
3.
done. And as a reminder for those of you who've never listened to the show before, we're not just going to leave you at that. She will tell you what the lies are at the end of the episode if we don't guess them.
Probably.
Uh-oh.
That's
Maybe.
the idea. But I did want to ask you guys, do you have any fall traditions or Halloween traditions?
Usually seeking a hospital if it was bad enough.
Mine are basic bitch stuff. I just like to watch more scary movies and play more scary games and just generally just be scared more than I usually am. In this
No Blumpkin
capitalistic
spice for you?
hellscape. No, that's November. November I get Blumpkin spices.
But that's No Nut November.
it can do both.
I don't think that's possible.
I haven't seen that setting on it.
Yeah.
Well, let me go down there and take another look.
Oh, I see.
No,
So
no,
your
not on
fall
camera.
festivities involve a country Blumpkin.
Uh-oh.
No, that's a different podcast.
Yeah.
Listen to Country Brothers every week.
Except for when they're not on.
On this network, whatever network this is.
Yes.
We're a network? Hell yeah.
It's the Unfamous Friends Network.
Well, again, I think I have to watch her. I mentioned this pre-roll. I got a copy of Hereditary super cheap today, but that's like a Halloween tradition now. I like to watch Hereditary around this time of year just because it's one of the scariest movies, in my opinion. Like, hits hard.
It's hard, man.
Hits hard, dude.
Makes me
Right
cry
in the
every time.
feels.
How about you, Michael? What do you do for scary bitch season?
I celebrate my birthday, but beyond that, I don't do much.
That's the scariest thing of all.
Yeah, the fact that I made it another year on this earth. No, I honestly don't do anything else. I make an excuse to drink eggnog, and that's the extent of my
What?
haul. They started serving it. I
That's
already
a
bought it.
Christmas thing, you weirdo.
I'm drinking fucking pumpkin spice eggnog right now, and it is fantastic.
Your breath must smell terribly.
Oh, I love eggnog. It's so good.
You're a complicated person.
That's what my psychiatrist tells me. Before they quit on me.
This is going to be great. This is going to be such a
Paying
good...
them helps, I find.
Why is he dipping a piece of pineapple pizza into his eggnog right now? This is the weirdest thing I've
I
ever
would
seen.
never dilute the sanctity of eggnog with anything. Just drink it straight. I don't even use brandy in it.
It's
Good
Christmas.
It's Christmas.
I love eggnog so much.
Okay, let's talk about it, Bubba. Tell me.
Can't wait to see you get
All right,
married
so
to it
anyways,
next year.
Good
Take
news.
it
This
as
is-
you will. It's thick, creamy, white liquid. So
It's
Take
corn.
it as you will.
Yeah.
You're right, Michael. This is milk part 2.
oh yeah.
Have you brought your assets?
Okay, well, since you guys have terrible, not fun fall/spooky traditions,
You know us all personally. Have
Yeah,
you
but
ever
I always
heard the
hope for
terms
better for
fun?
you.
And that's where you go wrong. You never hope anything for me.
Miserable
Anything.
bastards, all. Like, there is no exception to this. I don't know why you expected anything different.
We
Okay,
talked
well,
about calling ourselves the Miserable Bastards podcast, but we figured that was taken somewhere.
That's
So-
the new format.
some suggestions for you. Every October we watch Over the Garden Wall. It's like 12 episodes.
Ooh.
It's animated. It's super cute and it's so funny and a little bit spooky. It's like the right amount of spooky for me.
And Elijah Wood is the main voice actor, right?
Yeah, he plays Wirt.
Yeah. I like that one.
That's
It's very,
cute.
very wholesome.
Always the fall spice candles. Lots of those.
Oh, I just got a bourbon vanilla or bourbon pumpkin candle today.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fancy.
basic bitch. And then I have my pumpkin spice candle lit over there, so
That's fucking right.
I'm with you. And then every year we make a trip out of going and getting our first pumpkin spice latte of the season. And let me tell you, the new recipe is gross, so don't even bother.
Dang.
Where?
So it's
Just
ruined.
anywhere.
Starbucks.
Anywhere that does
Always
it.
the Starbucks one. That one was bad. Don't do it.
There used to be a brief haven, a sanctity for me, if you will, and sanctuary over at the Dunkin' Donuts because they would have the pumpkin macchiato, which had
Ooh.
no spice. None at all. They didn't fuck it up with errant flavors. It was just, this is the flavor of pumpkin with coffee. And I could run with that. But now, in the new Dunkin' branding, it is now pumpkin spice for every one of their beverages, and the pumpkin macchiato is no more. And so I will be imprisoned for arson once I start my spree of burning down Dunkin' locations.
It does seem like there is a big hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my favorite coffee for quite some time.
And what do you do when they take away your favorite coffee?
That I'm gonna burn the fuckers to the
Yeah,
ground.
you already said that. It was quite
The
obvious.
salt in the earth.
Yeah, so it's a movie called Cleaver, and it's where Shane.
How clever.
Yeah.
The clever cleaver.
Cleaver damn near killed her. That is usually the sound I make.
He just walks doing that. Just
It's like when you opened up the bottom of the aerosol canister in Jurassic Park. That sound.
I hate that sound so much. That is a good, quick little segue, making the Michael Myers sound. I have re-downloaded Dead by Daylight. Let's see if magic can
he's
happen
gone back
twice.
on the wagon.
But keep this in mind, I downloaded it 2 days ago. I haven't played games since, so maybe it's like the anti-game for me. Maybe it's like going to break me free of playing video games.
I thought you were going to do
temptation.
the love stories in the Dead by
dating
Daylight
sim.
first.
Oh, I'll see if that's on console and report back. If it is, I'll try it just for science.
You need to do that as
Science.
your first official Twitch stream.
Ooh, there you go.
Twitch stream. Oh my god. I do not have the confidence to be rejected that hard.
I'll tell
Well, you're
Jonah
on
he can get
YouTube.
on and give you $1.
I'm not on YouTube of my own free will, though. Like, it's not like I'm just...
That's a fair point.
I'm not going out of my way to post these fucking shorts on YouTube. I just trigger happy Michael over being like, he sneezed and looked at the camera. Post.
Yeah, that's a good short. It's a good short. I giggled.
Yeah. Michael
Oh, that
on
was 5
YouTube
seconds?
is
10,000
like
views.
a mom on Facebook, where it's
I
just
will
like,
say
oh,
it's-
they did a thing. I'm going to post it.
It is nice to have a cheerleader, you know? Like, it's nice that Michael's there being like, get him, champ.
Yeah, I have to say that was one of like the single greatest and worst moments of my life is being the one who has to moderate the comments because Michael refuses, and opening one and seeing on a short where someone said, "This is a highlight?" And I was like, "Oh, fuck."
Of my life. But anyways, guys, my topic that I prepared.
Oh, yeah, that little thing.
That, you know. So when I was a kid, I was only allowed to trick or treat once. After that, obviously, we did what Jesus would do, and we went to the Harvest Festival at our church every year.
Oh,
Checks
thought
out.
you were going to say bleed and die.
No, actually, I have a few more years before I'm scheduled for that, but thank you.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
Because
You're right.
obviously, like, Halloween is, like, super satanic. We can't do that. So I decided to do an episode on the history of Halloween.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, and some of the traditions and where they come from, I think this is so cool, and I also hate American culture for bastardizing everything.
It's what we do best.
Baby.
Co-opting.
So
Tell me about the Morrigan.
here we go. So
It
obviously,
was a dark and stormy night.
It was a dark and stormy night.
If it doesn't start with that, I'm leaving the call.
Shane just
Bet.
said it, so we're good.
It
We're
was
in.
a dark and stormy Daniels, the night that Trump fuck came to town.
I like where this is going.
You're gonna need to take your own panties off. I can't get them with these baby hands.
Ah!
It's like having a hand made with pinkies.
My fingers are tiny peaks in blanket.
Well, at least he sounds kind of how I see him in my head now.
Yes, just German Trump from this point
like the
forward.
three little pigs from Shrek.
Yes. Comically evil.
So I had never really put much thought into this until we started watching Outlander. It's romance, fantasy.
Pass.
Yeah, you guys.
I've seen many wonderful knitting patterns based on the show.
There you go. Okay, great. But the first episode of that show, which is set in Scotland, talks about Samhain, which is a Celtic religious ceremony / holiday. And that's kind of what like got me on this train, because we're talking about like, oh yeah, it's like October 31st and then ghosts. And I was like, wait a minute, this is all connected. It goes all the way to the top. So the religious ceremony / festival, like I said, it goes from October 31st to November 1st. And it marks the beginning of the dark half of the year. During this night, it's believed that the veil between the living and the dead is thinned, which allows spirits to frolic on both planes. And it also allows druids to cross over and intermingle with the dead, which is like so spooky. Terrible.
Well, listen, necromancy is pretty fancy when you're inclined.
Early Celtic texts suggest that Samhain was a 3-day and 3-night celebration that required people to present themselves to the local king or ruler, lest they be punished by the gods through illness or death. But Ireland took it even further and basically wrote into their law that if you used a weapon or committed a crime during Samhain, you'd be murdered. So you'd be joining the spirits on the other side of the veil.
Is that true?
Oh.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Is
intense.
it
I love
Samhain
it.
or is why am I? Where's Samhain? What is that?
That's-
That's how
Samhain.
it's pronounced.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's Halloween ruined it. The film Halloween ruined it for everybody. Well, technically it was
Got it.
Halloween 2 where they say Samhain. But
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Cool. I was like, I feel like it's so close. Either. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. No, if I hadn't looked it up, you would have heard me say it wrong the whole time.
Oh, there's a lovely Ghost Adventures episode that would, of course, corrected you on that. I will send it your way.
Oh boy.
Oh, good. Now I won't sleep tonight. So since the veil is thin, people would prepare offerings that would be left outside of villages and fields to appease the spirits. Some of those spirits include questing beasts, which are specific to Celtic lore, and then also faeries. Faeries are like a very big problem over there. 10 out of 10 do not recommend. In fact, the reason that people started dressing up for Halloween was so that they wouldn't be kidnapped by fairies, because apparently they're really dumb. So if you dressed up as a monster or as an animal, they wouldn't kidnap you.
Is that bullshit? I always thought fairies were like sly tricksters and all that.
Kidnapping is pretty sly, in my opinion, Michael.
Yeah, but they're easily confuzzled by costumes and all that.
That is in point of fact why people initially started dressing up, as they were attempting to avoid being taken by spirits into hell.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nerd.
Apparently I'm not, because I don't know that little tidbit, so.
So we're twice crossed over here insofar as I am Irish, obviously,
Uh-huh.
and as several of us on the call are, and secondarily, I have learned a lot of lessons about this. So it will be interesting to see what I don't catch here to prove my idiocy. I'm looking forward to it.
Kind of like you and I watching the new Dahmer series and knowing what's added and what's left out.
Yes, which I have not watched it yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
It's pretty rough and good so far, but it's hard to say that. It's like it's really, really rough, but it's really well done.
You're going to like the ride.
Easy.
You're gonna like the way you look after I drill a hole in your skull.
I guarantee it.
And that was when the cannibalism started.
What was that?
So speaking of some pretty creepy monsters, there's actually quite a few that are associated with Samhain, including this shapeshifter Puka, which I believe there's also a movie about Puka, but I don't think it's based on the lore. I think it's separate. I think it's like a puppet movie.
What about the shells?
Oh, from your last beach vacation, they
Oh,
might be
no.
haunted. You need to throw those out.
Ah!
That being entity nightmare receives the harvest offering. So the things I mentioned earlier that are like, actually the Puka is what lives on John's patio, I'm pretty sure. But it accepts
I believe it.
it accepts the offerings, and then depending on if it liked your offering, you will either have good or bad fortune going forward. So it was really important to make sure that you appease the Puka.
Bribery.
Well, it's kind of like, I don't know, but maybe trick-or-treating, like the lady down the street who gives out raisins. Like, same deal. Like, she's going to get pranked. It's a bad time.
Raisins are delicious. I won't hear anything to the contrary.
Yup.
I say that knowing full well Melissa will slap me in the face when she hears that.
Uh-oh.
Slap him twice.
For good measure?
I turn the other cheek.
I roll
Resent
for
the
a
cheek.
20.
And then I spread those cheeks.
Uh-oh.
I roll again for a 20.
You're gonna attack them?
Roll charisma.
It's a natural 0.
Oh, no. They don't even have that on the dice, but somehow you managed to roll it. I don't
I've
understand.
manifested it.
It's when you roll the dice and it just explodes.
Poof. Gone to atoms.
Cool. The next one is Lady Gwyn. She's a woman that basically runs around in all white, and she is accompanied by a black goat, and she chases away essentially people who are out wandering at night, where she's like, nope, you're supposed to be inside, the spirit time, and she kicks him to the curb.
Black Phillip is a lovely king.
That's what it made me think of too, actually. I was like, oh, that's weird.
That's why I have to ask, is that bullshit?
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Haha, I was like, you said Gwen, and I immediately thought Spider-Gwen, and because I'm a nerd. That has nothing to
do with it. No, so she's accompanied by a black pig, actually. So I thought black goat was a really nice, easy nod to the witch. And then the last one, lest we forget, is the Dullahan, which sometimes appears as an imp, but mostly appears as a headless man who is holding his own head while riding on a horse with flaming eyes.
Welcome to Hogwarts!
That one might sound familiar. He's also said to be an omen of death, so probably just don't encounter him if you can. During Samhain, a traditional meal would be served called Dumb Supper. I couldn't find why it was called Dumb Supper, but
Michael,
honestly,
do you know why?
I am pretty dumb, but I don't know anything about a dumb supper.
Oh, isn't that like when you go and pick up your order at Howie's?
That's how I feel if I were to, yeah.
Well, it's an Irish tradition, which means that you're just so goddamn drunk at the beginning of the meal that you can't actually articulate what you're eating and why.
Isn't that every meal?
Oh.
I mean, that kind of makes sense because during this tradition, it's a meal shared between the living and the dead. So they are talking to people who aren't there. So the alcohol kind of makes sense.
Just trying to figure out if this is a wedding or a wake.
Why not both?
Make it both.
And it is said that over this meal, they actually discuss the year's events with the ancestors, which is just a whole
Catching
to-do.
up grandma.
Because after that, then the children play games to keep the dead entertained. Again, I don't like this. This is not good for me.
Why? You don't want the dead to be entertained? I feel like,
By children?
All right, kids, strip poker. Here we go.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Are you not entertained?
Now fight to the death.
Ugh. And also during this time, you would leave all your doors and windows open because you had made special cakes for the dead to enjoy and they need a way to get into your house.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So
Can't go through the chimney. They're not Santa.
Obviously.
What about the leprechaun?
That's the other side of the year. We don't need to worry about those.
Oh, no.
Or do you mean the film Leprechaun?
Leprechaun 5 into Hood.
No,
you
thank
live
you.
Warwick
Top.
Davis out of this.
Call back to Hogwarts?
Yellow.
So obviously at the time, Celtic people, they're doing their thing. They have their celebration. So in typical Christian fashion, the church was like not here for it. So in the 5th century, Pope Boniface was like, hey guys, cool idea. Like, what if we stopped doing your holiday and we started doing this cool new holiday that's actually in May and it's actually about Christian martyrs because they don't get enough, like, attention?
He said, but
Ass.
Pastor Barafone.
Yeah, that's why. Boniface.
Boniface.
How about you listen here, fucking Padre Bonerface? Listen, we all love a good blowy from time to time, but how about you shut your fucking mouth for a minute? Just let us enjoy our goddamn festivities.
Moron.
If
Literally
only they
what
ever
happened.
listened. If only they ever listened.
Yeah.
Oh,
So obviously, like, they were like, nah, dude, like, we're still having our thing. Like, you can go to your weird thing in May, but that has nothing to do with us.
How dare you tell me to go and fuck myself?
And then, of course, again, like, they're going to try this bullshit one more time. So then, in the 9th century, Pope Gregory was like, look, guys, okay, I get it. You like your festival. There's a lot of fire involved. I don't want to get on your bad side. So we can definitely keep your spooky holiday October 31st to November 1st, but then we're just going to tack on November 2nd. We're going to have All Saints Day and All Souls Day.
Yeah.
So we're going to still get in here, but you can keep your thing. And everyone was like, we're not paying attention to what you're doing anyway.
You're
so
still
they're
here?
responsible for the Boondock Saints sequel that nobody wanted.
Yeah, the one that like 4 people asked for and 5 people liked.
So naturally, that gets tacked onto the end. Nobody cares. They're just like, we're having Samhain and you're not stopping us. Obviously, the goal was to either replace Samhain with a church-sanctioned holiday or to try to convert people to this new holiday after they had their celebration. And it got to the point, of course, where the church was so desperate to get people to join them that they just started stealing all of the traditions from Samhain and using them as part of their party. So they would do big bonfires, they'd have parades, and then they would dress up, but only as saints, devils, and angels. So very creative on the part of the church, as we know them to do.
Michael seems to be somewhat incredulous about this.
No, I'm just trying to picture what they dressed of. Oh, what saint are you? Well, I'm this saint. Oh, well, I'm this saint, and they're all dressed the same fucking dress.
It's like
I'm a Saint Boniface.
Which one, the 3rd or the 4th or the 10th?
In the real world, it's like counting how many Jedis you see walking down the street on Halloween. You know,
that's
all
what
the same
I was
Jedi
picturing.
garb.
Yeah.
Fortunately, neither All Souls Day nor, as I coined it, May Martyr Mayhem would replace what would soon be called Hallows Eve.
Martyr Mayhem.
Kind of if they rebranded and introduced that holiday this year or next year,
I feel like it's been long overdue for them to get a facelift with their PR. You know?
Yeah, May Martyr Mayhem.
Buddy Christ.
I think Buddy Christ is the strongest play, and I think Kevin Smith got it right.
So mark your calendars, guys. It's coming. It's like March Madness, but it's way better. We're gonna rank all our favorite popes. They're gonna battle. It's gonna be great.
Battle popes.
And then whoever dies is like the number 1 martyr, so it works. It makes sense.
Yeah,
So
it's
now-
win-win. You either progress up the chain or you become a martyr again. It's perfect.
It's like the Hunger Games, but at the Vatican.
Is the boss fight you gotta kill Christ again, or?
The boss fight is you becoming God by
Become
destroying
Christ.
God.
It's like Pokemon Master. You gotta fight the old Christ to become the new Christ.
Yeah, you become the Pope gym leader.
Oh, so it's
Oh my
Bloodborne
God.
all over again.
What if that is the Catholic Church? What?
I challenge the Pope to a duel for the title of Pope.
But they're both just pointing their fingers at each other, do the Palpatine, just but making the noises with their mouths. Like,
God will smite you. No, he'll smite you.
Unlimited power!
Mass started 30 minutes ago.
It's also just, it makes me envision the Pope trying to get up off the couch like, Anakin, I'm too weak. Please help.
Do it.
Do it.
You got a bunch of dingleberries hanging on you here, Pope Pius, and wipe them out. All of them. You can't walk outside without your pants on, Pope Pius. It's not legal. I will make it legal.
Well, he made it legal in his mind, so it was okay.
Yeah.
It is legal.
Classified.
So obviously these pagan traditions would eventually be brought to America around the 19th century by Irish immigrants, laying the groundwork for the holiday as we know it today. But of course, things change, so we're going to get more into the different traditions and where they come from. But what I found really interesting was in the 1980s, people who practice Wicca actually tried to like bring back some of the old traditions of Samhain, including communing with the dead and setting a lot of fires. So they think they succeeded. That's pretty close.
Also,
Pumpkin spice candles.
Shane, I'm very, very proud of you for resisting the urge to make the joke after she said Wicca and then turn it back to not use your usual Wicca joke. So I'm very proud of you for not using it this time.
Well,
Wild
for
West.
the fact
Jim
that
West.
you explain
Desperado.
the whole thing, it kind of defeats the purpose of him not doing it in the first place.
I've watched Adult Swim. I know how comedy works.
And technically, it's Sicka Slim Shady.
Now rewind it back. Shane's got the booty.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, we heard enough about that last week, I think. I think we're good on that for a little while.
Excuse you?
I disagree.
I can't think of Hershey syrup ever again.
Not with that attitude. Open your mind to new possibilities.
No, that's okay.
Augustus, please. I am free for children's parties, by the way. If you do need that chocolate waterfall, I
You know
am
what?
available
Actually,
for
I
booking.
have a Halloween party I'd love to book you for.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
Done.
You're going to need at least 14 bottles per hour. I can try to recycle as much as possible, but occasionally there is some slippage and spillage.
Does that come with the s'more station or is that separate?
It comes any way I want to.
Okay, great.
Depends on the day.
So as I mentioned, I have very little experience with trick-or-treating. But my assumption is that the gist is simple enough. You go door to door and you threaten people until they give you candy.
Come on
Depends
out
on the
and face
neighborhood,
me,
but
you
yeah.
fucking coward.
I know you're in there. Andy!
Give me all your best unused razor blades.
And then if they don't give you candy, apparently that's like licensed to like prank them or like cover their house in toilet paper, according to the internet. So
Or
That's
eggs.
actually true.
Or both.
eggs, that sounds evil, Michael. Why would you do that?
I'm just repeating what other people have said. So.
When he runs out of shaving cream, the eggs are next.
Mm-hmm.
So the history behind trick-or-treating comes from the Irish and the Scottish. The Irish call it mumming. To participate, you have to dress up, and then you go door to door singing songs to the dead, which honestly could be worse than threatening people depending on who's singing.
The bones are their dollars.
So are the worms.
Once the haunted carolers have finished harassing the dead and the homeowner, they're then gifted cakes, which I assume are the same cakes that were meant for the dead earlier, so it just doesn't seem like a good idea.
Well, you gotta set aside your cakes for the dead and your cakes for the living. It's like, I thought it was standard practice that when you take the cakes out, you gotta sort them one way or another.
Well,
you don't want to
one.
double dip. You know, you don't want to give a cake meant for a dead person to a live person and vice versa.
You know, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand now.
Well,
Thank
unless
you.
it's a quantum cake. If it's a quantum cake, it's fine.
Well, you just don't know until you hand it to someone.
Well, is it
It's
a
meant for the
metaphysical
dead.
cake or is it an actual cake?
Whoa. He talked quantum. We're not talking metaphysics, because that's an entirely separate domain to talk about. I would know. I'm a philosopher.
The question becomes, how do you differentiate the dead cakes from the living cakes? You
Well-
smell different.
Exactly. One smells like arsenic and one smells like razor blades. Take your
No, one smells like arsenic, the other smells like old lace.
One says nothing, one yells, "Hey!"
pick.
This tastes stale. Oh, it's a dead cake.
Do not eat dead cake.
Dead inside.
Yeah, dead cake inside. What is the funny, like, how you can read it differently, like if you actually read it left to right?
Don't
Dead open inside.
here. Yeah, don't dead open inside. Yeah.
Sorry. I'm not sorry, but I'm sorry. Go.
Huh?
But he's not sorry. But he's sorry. But he's not sorry. But he's sorry.
Which one's the dead cake again?
She's back on the cakes.
She's back on the cakes again.
And why is she farting on them?
Special seasoning.
I did not know you were Brazilian.
Lobster farts.
Lobster farts. You know, I almost did a part 2 of that episode when I was writing this, and I was like, you know what? Can't do it. Can't top it. No lobster farts.
Oh, you could still get there, I'm sure.
Everything comes down to lobster farts. At the end
So
of the
they
day.
say.
Amen. Pranks were also commonplace during the original Samhain, but these tricks were usually blamed on fairies and not human children. So next time you're arrested, just let them know the fairies did it. It wasn't you.
Can't say that in this country. Someone's going to get hurt.
It's like, uh-oh. Going down a dark road there.
Depending upon the police officer you get, one might agree with you.
Oh
Oh, even worse.
yeah, I didn't think about that. All right, moving on. So bobbing for apples, right? So fun. Fun pre-COVID game. Now just really gross. Was gross before, but now it's like extra gross.
Yes.
Is thought to be inspired by Pomona, the Roman goddess of fruit and trees. And you're thinking, we've not talked about anything to do with Rome. This doesn't make sense. Well, the Romans were also like, cool, like, did you see the Christians are like over there trying to like co-opt that holiday? We also want to co-opt that holiday. And
right.
the way they tried to do that was mixing in 2 other holidays into Samhain. The first one being Feralia, which is a commemoration of the passing of the dead. And then the other holiday honored Pomona, like I said, the goddess of fruit and trees. And they believe that this is why they have bobbing for apples, because she was represented by an apple in lore.
Oh, I thought we were going to stay on the dead cake saga and have a Pomona loaf.
The next tradition we'll talk about is fortune telling and Ouija boards. Those are both directly correlated to traditions that were started by druids. If you don't know what a druid is, they were also Celtic priests who would be able to more accurately tell fortunes during Samhain, thanks to the thinning of the veil and the spirits moving through it.
Are you going to talk more about Ouija boards? Because as far as I know, they're just a toy made by, I think, Hasbro or Mattel or something like that. Or is there actual history behind it?
Somebody has not listened to the last podcast on the left episode on Ouija, and you probably should.
You actually should. You should listen to that show in general.
I should listen to a lot of things, and I disappoint
yes,
everyone that tells me things like
there is
that.
a rich and beautiful history involving planchettes and the various assortments of them, and that lends to the Ouija.
That's fair. Planchette boards and all that other stuff is a lot older than board game company. So
yes, the old spirit board.
Yeah, fair point.
To answer your question, Michael, no, I don't go further into it. I think there could be a really fun episode of like Ouija, tarot, and like astrology, but it's more research than I am willing to do at this time.
I have to do that then.
I mean, it's pretty interesting stuff. I do enjoy reading about it, but then talking about it, I don't feel like I can explain it well enough. But anyways.
Oh, I can't, but that doesn't stop me from trying.
We know.
See all of my episodes. All of them. I never know what I'm doing. Anyway, continue.
The predictions that were made during Samhain were really important to the people, especially because they were moving into the dark part of the year. So these predictions would give them hope to get them through the end of the year, and then back into the nice sun times. There was also... You know, like when you're reading and your brain just like, we're going to keep saying words. Yeah, that's
often,
what just happened.
Yes,
That's
I'm very familiar.
Every moment of my life. Sun
the
times.
Nice sun times.
I like the sun times.
Now, this honestly, we're getting into my favorite part, because some of the stuff that people have come up with, specifically in the hopes of finding love, is just hilarious to me.
Reoccurring theme here. Is. Sorry. Sorry. Get excited.
One of those
we know.
traditions included young women throwing apple peels over their shoulders and then turning around to hopefully either see their husband's face, their future husband's face, or his initials written in the apple peels. That is not a lie. That is a real thing that people did.
I believe it.
Anyways.
I mean, it's not the most desperate thing I've heard of.
Oh, it gets worse.
What is the most desperate thing you've heard of?
I don't know. It sounds like it would be a lot worse than the apple peels. Sitting and staring and looking for people's eyes.
Strolling up to random strangers and licking the side of their face.
Signing up for pretty girls petition so you don't have to tell them no.
Or, giving someone $2,000 or $20,000, to speedline their Tinder profile or whatever it is. So,
yeah.
Or dating anybody from Florida.
Or dating anyone from Florida.
Or having the right stuff.
From Florida.
And
That-
my ex.
That didn't land with Michael, but that's okay.
No, it's fine.
In the 18th century Ireland, cooks might even hide a ring in mashed potatoes that somebody was eating, hoping that their true love would hopefully maybe marry them if they didn't choke to death on the ring hidden in their mashed potatoes. Really?
Is that bullshit?
No, that was true. It was like, yeah, some frisky Irish cook was like, I'm going to hide a ring in this food and then hope that somebody gets engaged in the next year. And it's like, that's creepy and I don't like it.
Because I almost said that's bullshit because they had no potatoes in the 1800s.
It's the one time I would let a potato famine joke go. I appreciate the historical representation. Well played.
Oh, millions of people died. It was terrible.
Well, Michael, you're not going to love to hear that like the tradition of pumpkin carving actually started with potatoes.
Oh, no.
Really?
Why did they do that to the poor pugs?
My babies!
Oh, no.
Courtney knows that sound. That's what that's all pugs.
That's what they all say. So yeah, physical contaminants in the food. Love that. In Scotland, girls were told to name hazelnuts. What?
What?
Shave.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so they were told to grab a handful of hazelnuts for however many suitors they have.
Ooh.
They're going to name each hazelnut the name of the suitors, right? So we've got a
Their body
handful.
count.
Michael. No.
Sorry.
I thought
Sorry.
part of the joys of finding love in Scotland was making a hazelnut, but known plenty of lovely ladies named Hazel myself.
We have fun here.
It's a kilt lifter, that one.
So you're going to take your nuts, you're going to throw them into the fire.
Oh, God. No, no.
John's been doing it for years.
I haven't fallen off yet.
Just Spider-Manning into the flame.
Thwap, thwap.
Oh, no.
Gonna miss you, kid.
Spider fap, spider fap.
Whichever hazelnut turns to ash is your true love. Because some of them will pop and sputter and explode, but the one that turns to ash, that's your true love. I also read the inverse, that the one that turns to ash is actually your worst match. So, honestly, it's right 100% of the time, 50% of the time. Good odds.
There you go. Mhm.
I like it.
I like them.
So you're saying I have a chance?
But prepare yourselves for this next sentence, guys.
Ready.
Girls could also eat nut-containing sweets before bed to dream about their future husbands.
I don't see why that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't hold it. I'm sorry.
Not the first time you've said that.
Oh, I'm sorry it never happens like this. I promise. I promise. It was the alcohol. I swear. I swear.
The sun was in my eyes.
It's just
Talking about the women
nut-containing
ingesting
sweets?
Yes.
Oh, yes, yes.
Continue, yeah.
or you're just standing by their pillow, just waiting for your
Sorry.
opportunity.
I can't let that
Now's
go.
my
I don't.
chance.
I think I wouldn't be able to continue having fun if someone while having sex told me to give me that sweet nut. I think I'd be done. I'm just like, yep,
Well,
there it goes.
I'm done. Have a nice
It's
day.
no, it's
It was a
possible.
pleasure. Oh no!
There are diabetics everywhere that can attest to this fact. Give me the sugar pops, Daddy. Come on.
Not too much. I'd have to take some insulin.
If you don't finish, you're being intolerant to diabetic people.
Otherwise, if it's not with any sugar, it's a grape nut.
Oh God, I'm so
Sugar-free.
sorry, God. I'm
Low-cal
sorry. I'm
diet.
sorry, Courtney. Sorry, God.
Oh,
In case anybody needed some other ways to divide the future, I've got two more.
okay. Honey Nut Cheerios.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Done.
There were some who believed if you put an egg yolk in a bowl of water, you could tell the future. Didn't give more detail than that, but you just look at it and it's in the bowl of water, and obviously then you know things. I've never tried it, so it probably does work. I just haven't experienced it.
Bet you won't try it.
Right now.
Stay
I
tuned
mean, we
for
have-
the after dark.
We've seen what happens when you open an egg under the water.
We have.
There's many marvelous videos of that, which are delightful. Check it out right now.
And the last one, of course, this one's a classic. You stand in a dark room, you hold a candle, you stare into a mirror and hope that your soulmate's face pops up.
I would be absolutely terrified if
Yeah.
that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How many times do I say Bloody Mary again?
That's what I was thinking too.
only once. Yeah.
Candy pants, candy pants, candy pants.
So in the 1800s, Americans moved away from hanging out with their ghost family members and tried to make the holiday more about their living communities. Hence the rise of the Halloween party as we know it today. Parents were encouraged by the media at the time to remove frightening and grotesque subject matter from Halloween traditions. And as a result, the superstitious aspects and religious traditions were lost by the 20th century. Which is really
Ooh.
sad. I think there was like a lot of really fun stuff there. But also in my research, I came across a lot of fun facts. So I made a little fun fact list because why not?
Yay.
This is what you can tell all your friends later. It'd be great.
Oh, I'm going to be talking about the sugar nuts.
And
Sweet,
how?
sweet nut.
Classic. So Americans are estimated to spend about $6 billion a year on Halloween. Yeah, billion with a B.
I believe it. Wait, I don't know if I.
Do I believe it? I believe. No.
You know what?
I don't know.
I have a doubt. Is that true? Is it $6
That is-
billion?
That is a true
Doubt.
statement.
Oh,
According
guess
to
we-
history.com.
It's like also considering the gluttony of this country,
I
how
was
you
just-
could ever call that into question when food's involved.
I was thinking about like
Yeah.
haunted houses and stuff too. That has to apply.
Yes. And it gets worse because 490 million of that is for pet costumes.
Oh, you unsaintly bastards.
And about
I'm gonna
50,000 of that
say-
is my mom.
Can I say bullshit on that? Because I feel like it should be higher.
No,
What?
that is accurate as of 2019.
Hmm.
I've already seen ads for pet costumes popping up everywhere.
I can't go through a year without my mom bringing some over for our dogs. And I'm like, they don't need clothes. They like being naked.
They're dogs.
That's their
Yeah.
thing. One quarter of all candy sold annually in the U.S. is for Halloween, with the number one holiday being Valentine's Day.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
And then 2 more superstitions that I found very interesting. Mostly because
And
it's
1 or
just-
2 regular stitions.
Yeah, regular stitions. They're okay, but they're not great.
You kind of believe in them, but they're not like anything you should do anything about. They're like, yeah, you know.
Do any of you know why crossing paths with a black cat is bad luck?
No.
I can't say that I do.
Shane, father of cats? Any guesses?
I love black cats.
First
I
of
don't
his
want
name.
to say.
I'll cross paths with them all the time.
I just pick them up and cuddle them.
As you should.
Can't cross a path if you pick it up.
Okay.
In the Middle Ages, it was believed that black cats were just witches in disguise. And you
Transformers.
don't literally.
More than meets the eye.
So you don't want to cross a witch, obviously. So avoid black cats.
Man, there are many Wiccan folk out there that are going to be very upset if they're not crossed.
And in addition to that, black cats are usually, and this is not in my script, but I just know this fact, are the least likely to get adopted. Still, to
Yeah.
this day, black cats don't
But
get
they're so
adopted as
cute.
much as other
A lot of
cats.
sad things about black cats. Very, very depressing.
Okay.
Well, it happens a lot. Like they get routinely euthanized a lot
Yet
more.
let's not
They get-
share
yeah.
this. I'm
Sorry
not
for black
crying
cats.
on this
Yeah.
podcast again.
Jeez, Michael.
Not now, not
Well,
never.
she started it. Talking
And he's
about
gonna
sad
finish
things
it. You better pray to God, son.
And then the next one is walking under a ladder. I'm sure everybody's heard of this one.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody know why that's like frowned upon?
Gonna get paint on you.
Because they'll close and
No,
and
I
then you're
don't.
stuck.
So, according to my sources, it is supposedly due to ancient Egyptians believing that triangles are sacred. So, going through the middle of one is like bad luck. Don't
Straight
do
to
it.
jail.
But
Really?
that's what my source said. Honestly, it's just a best safety practice. So, continue about
Yeah.
your merry way.
Honestly, ladders make bad pants.
Very
mean-
true.
Yeah.
Very true.
So I had like what I felt like was a really great closing sentence to this episode, and then Jonah had to go and ruin it for me.
Ugh.
So what I was going to say was, this could be a whole episode, but I'll leave it at this. Nobody is putting drugs in your kids' candy. They're too expensive, and it's a waste of perfectly good drugs.
Okay.
So then
Good
Jonah
point.
goes, "Have you seen the new fentanyl?" And I was like, "No, Jonah, I have
Oh,
not
get
seen the
outta
new
here.
fentanyl. That is not in my Google searches. I don't
They
spend
made
my
them
day."
rainbow colored.
Did you
oh
see
my
'em?
goodness.
I
It
did.
looks like
what is
candy.
this?
And so,
Okay, yeah. Still, like you said, way too expensive to be giving them out to kids.
but I also think like if anybody hasn't read up on the hysteria over the years of all of the things people think or have said they found in their kids' candy that was still sealed and wrapped somehow, or razor blades and apples, definitely go check it out. It's very entertaining. Last year, the big thing was THC candies being given to kids. Which, again,
I do remember that.
who can afford that?
Remember that. Yeah.
Not I.
Gummies are not expensive, but they ain't that cheap. I ain't giving those away.
I mean, I also agree. I'm not giving them away, but yeah, that's so wild.
All right.
The multicolored fentanyl. That's terrifying. Thanks,
It's-
Jonah. You fucking asshole.
So they
Because
found
Jonah
it.
invented it.
The one that he showed me, the article from it, was in a Lego box. And it was sealed in there because they are
Jesus.
almost the same color as Legos. Not quite. But they were brightly colored and they put them in the Lego box. And that's how they got smuggled. And only do legal drugs, kids.
Yeah.
You don't trust your source, get it tested. Always have Narcan, etc., etc. What?
Thanks, Uncle Mike.
I feel like it would be good practice to just state that for the record. Test your drugs if you don't trust the source, and then always have Narcan with you.
Or just don't do drugs.
Yeah, obviously.
It's worked for me.
Look, Shane turned out fine.
I'm not suppressing rage and shaking like a dog shitting peach seeds every moment of the day. I'm fine. I'm well adjusted.
This is great. This has always been great.
I'm not white knuckling my way through middle age and just hoping I die faster.
Come on, die! Die!
Just die already.
Why won't you die?
Wake up, another day of being alive again.
Next week, I'm going to start going through the gambit Bill Murray did in Groundhog Day and see what happens. Don't drive angry.
That is a good Nicolas Cage movie, by the way.
Groundhog Day?
No, Drive Angry.
What?
That is a movie.
It's called Gone in 60 Seconds, you ignorant fuck.
No,
Oh.
there's another movie called Drive Angry.
I
And
know.
it was
I'm
made in 3D.
just trying to be funny for once.
No,
Oh,
I
wow.
refuse to be funny.
Wow, it looks like I can't make your wedding. Wow.
I haven't
Fine,
even
you already
ordered my
bought the
tux.
Joke's on you.
Actually, joke's on you. They don't let me into Men's Warehouse anymore. It's a long story, but I'm afraid you're
It
just,
turns out-
Order online
you're
because
gonna-
very
no.
easy.
you're just going to get me for what I choose to wear.
All you need to know
That's
about the
fair.
story on why Shane's not allowed back is because he did not, in fact, like the way he looked.
Nope.
So they failed to meet guarantees, and this is what happens when you fail
And
to
Mango
meet.
Chainsaw is actually how I resolve problems and not just one of my favorite liquid death flavors.
Mango Chainsaw is your character name for, what is it? Martyr May or May Martyr Mayhem?
May Martyr Mayhem, yes.
Mango Chainsaw. The May Martyr Mayhem.
God help you.
It's also my new wrestling name.
The power of Christ compels him.
So that's all I have for you guys today. I think you got one lie.
Which
Yeah.
Shane walked in like, strutting his stuff being like, I know all these fucking things. And then
No, what Shane walked in was saying, I am looking forward to being proven what a dunce I am. If you had
that's
been paying attention,
He
but I know I
did
can't
say
expect that.
well,
I
you got to
did
you
hear
got
him
to
say
meet me
that.
where I'm at,
Yeah.
We just got to meet
Too
each
late.
other where we're at.
Meet him in the middle.
And my
Eat 'em out in the
favorite
middle.
part about this episode is I threw in an additional lie off the cuff, and Michael still just ate it up. Pumpkin carving did not start from potatoes, Michael. It was turnips.
Yeah, you
I'm
fucking
sorry. I
idiot.
forgot the history of turnips from my episode, The History of Turnips.
Sounds
You're right.
like something.
You're right.
Michael,
Turn
I
up
told
for
you
what?
that Turnip Boy commits tax fraud. I already told you about this.
You did hint at this. You are right. I'm sorry.
But
and
where-
also, they didn't have potatoes in the 1800s in Ireland. So you're right. I should have known that.
But where's the Morrigan? That's what I'm asking.
Okay, so did you have any other stabs, guys?
No.
The druids ain't
Nope.
trying to date the spirits.
I have a sweet nut.
Oh
But
no,
Oh.
that was to Shane, not to John.
Oh. A sweet nut, you say?
go on.
Color me intrigued.
Actually, Shane's onto something. I did say that druids can cross over and like intermix for that one night. That's not a thing. That's unfounded. I made that up.
I was like, is
Hoorah!
that Coco or something like that? It sounded
Yes,
a lot like
so
Coco.
that is loosely based off of the movie Coco, where they take the spirit bridge
You
to
should
the
have
land
said
of the dead.
something.
Yeah. I told you that one of the spirits that like ran around during this time was the questing beasts. Those are a real Celtic mythical creature, but they were not listed in any of the materials that I read. But the fairies were. They were running around.
Was there any banshee discussion in what you were looking at?
You know, so the source that I used for the questing beast did mention banshees, and I considered putting that in, but that felt like it could potentially, in certain lore, actually be part of tradition. So I
Oh,
didn't want
that's
to add
fair.
that in.
Okay.
That's fair. You didn't want it to leave it vague where it could have been a lie depending on, or it could have been true depending on the sources.
Right.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
But that is one of my favorite superstitions. You do not want to hear a banshee wailing or you will be dead. which the film Darby O'Gill and the Little People absolutely terrified me when I was a kid because of the Banshee and the hearse sequence at the end, which are horribly like grisly and ghastly to watch today, but it was disturbing at the time.
That sounds
back
awful.
in 1842 when I was a young lad.
When he was a young lad.
Back before the Americans co-opted Samhain,
Mhm.
when you could still go and participate.
When I was a young warthog.
When he was a...
I thought Michael was going to catch this one because he was sniffing around, but Ouija boards, according to my research, really aren't related back to druids. That is more closely connected to the Chinese, is where a lot of that history comes from.
Yeah, get woke, Michael.
Really?
According to what I read.
Huh.
It is interesting, though.
It is interesting. Fascinating, even.
I'm sure Shane could tell us more, though, because it sounds like you actually watched something about the history of Ouija boards.
Yes, I did. That's a lot of... Yeah, talking boards is a European thing. Typically. It's thought it was the French.
Oh.
La France.
I was going to include tarot as a lie as well. But if you know even a little bit about tarot history, that's very much like a US thing. Like, we came up with that nonsense.
It is my favorite smoothie to get from, recommended donut places.
And then my last lie, I told you that the number one holiday for candy was Valentine's Day. That's not true.
Is it
Well done.
Halloween?
It's Thanksgiving.
It's Easter. And Peeps are the
Oh.
number one for revenue as far as candy is concerned, which I found really upsetting because I think Peeps are gross.
I do, too.
Yeah,
I
if
mean,
you-
they're a gimmick, but
If you like Peeps, you can take a flying fuck right now. I'm just going to tell you that off the top.
why bother putting all the effort? You want Peeps, just eat some marshmallows.
Yeah, for real, though.
Or a snowball, for God's sakes.
Ooh. Have
Or
you
an
had
8-ball.
the chocolate stuffed marshmallows yet?
No,
What?
is it good?
They're great for easy s'mores.
Oh.
Mhm.
Oh.
Work smarter, not harder.
I
Exactly.
can dig it.
And
Well, that
no,
was
I did
fun.
not almost catch our toaster oven on fire with them. Did not. do
No.
that.
Not with that attitude.
How would they know? How are they gonna know?
John was like, it smells like it's burning in here. And I had hid the graham crackers that were burning. I was like, what are you talking about? I don't smell that. Because he was
Don't
a
smell
little
shit.
high. So I just, yeah. He was like, oh, I must be making things up.
Like, yeah,
Multiple
you
colored
Made
made
him
it
have
fentanyl.
down.
a psychotic break because you just told him that he's imagining.
Well, I
things.
was like,
oh,
are you
no.
having a stroke?
Wait, did you gaslight him?
Yeah, I did. Absolutely. I girl
Are
bossed
you-
him. I
Yeah.
gatekeeped him.
Dang, you girl bossed him? Oof.
Oof.
Can't recover from
That's
that.
true love. TM.
Copyright.
Gaslighting by proxy.
Yeah.
Gaslighting by gaslight.
Yeah, yeah, right.
I'd read that book.
Do it.
You can read?
You're still here?
Why'd you point that out?
Well, that was fun,
School
Courtney.
is so small. How are the kids going to fit inside?
You're gonna learn how to read.
It's
Yes, delightful.
super interesting. There's so much more. Like, that could have been 4 parts, but
meh.
go read. Go. Okay, first
To Michael, read
Come
anything.
over,
Just go fucking
teach
read.
Michael how to read, and then help him
Hooked
learn
on
more
phonics.
about the history.
Did not work for me. Money back guarantee.
This is how I know I'm delirious. I'm laughing at Michael's jokes.
Ah!
Got him.
All right, well, thanks for being here on a supremely mellow installment of the Disinformed podcast.
It has been a mellow day, that is for sure.
If you enjoy what happens here, you're the one, and you should mark the occasion by liking and subscribing, perhaps rating and reviewing, because we'd love to hear from you. And we hope that you're tuned in Got new episodes winging your way every lovely Monday morning. Of course, there's occasionally nonsense happening over at the Tubes of You. And if you want to, you can be the person to resurrect our social networks. There's a link in the show notes below. I dare you to find one.
And how?
Challenge accepted.
Bam.
And so, for the Disinformed podcast this week, I am Shane.
I'm John.
I'm Michael.
I'm Courtney.
And zippity zoop, we're out of here.